Billions of dollars could be going toward finding more water for Texans or to fixing the pipes that get it to your home. One of Senator Charles Perry's priorities this session is getting more water to Texas, and his proposed legislation he believes can accomplish that has moved further through the Capitol. KCBD News Channel 11's Case Wilbanks talked to the senator about it.
In the Senate, you're always running between hearings, so it gets a little challenging sometimes.
Senator Charles Perry this session is on 6 committees: Vice Chair of Health and Human Services and Chair of Water, Agriculture, and Rural Affairs.
Water, Rural, and Ag, I've got a statewide water bill.
That bill is now in front of that committee, Senate Bill 837, that he hopes will at least get his fellow lawmakers talking about water.
When I'm gone and everybody doesn't remember that the senator from the district was there, there'll be something in place to remind the state that we need to be developing water supply every opportunity we have.
He says the state has conservation efforts, but now it's about supply.
Be it marine desal, produced water desal, the brackish water out of the oil and gas fields, and then just brackish water in general.
The bill creates a new fund within the Texas Water Development Board for grants and loans for water infrastructure needs. Needs, if not met, that will continue to account for billions of gallons of water lost each year. The bill also sets up funding for the board to find those new water supply sources, including getting water from neighboring states, anything not already accounted for in Texas. Perry says it's about a $3 billion price tag.
We've got money to seed that. It's not as much about the money amount as much as it is about the principle of establishing a foothold that every session we come in, we've got to look to our water needs and see where we're at.
If not, Perry says Texas will be short 7 million acre-feet over the next 50 years.
You start working on that problem today.
Case Wilbanks, KCBD News Channel 11.